Hey there, this is Dave Bensman with Bensman Home Computer Repair, and today I'd like to talk about printers, specifically what to do when they're not printing. There are a few simple things you can do that will help you get back to printing. The first thing you want to do is reboot the computer, uh, just to see if that's what the problem is. So you're going to take your cursor in Windows 10, you're going to put it on the Windows Start button right there. You're going to put your cursor right over the universal power symbol, which is the circle with the line through it. Then you're going to click on Restart, and that'll reboot your computer, and that sometimes can solve the problem. The other next thing you can do is to reboot the printer. You just find the power button on the printer, hold it in until the thing shuts down, wait about 10 seconds, and turn it back on and see if that solves the problem. And then the third thing you can do is to unplug the printer from the computer if it's a wired printer, wired printer setup. You just there find the USB cable, unplug it, wait 10 seconds, plug it back in, and sometimes that'll solve the problem. If none of that solves the problem, then you want to make sure that you're not using a wireless printer. If you're using a wireless printer, then make sure that your printer is on the network. And what you do is you just Google your printer model and connect to wireless network, and you'll see instructions on how to make sure that your printer is on the wireless network. Generally, it follows this path no matter what. It's basically got to know your network name and your security password, and on the control panel, you just use the little buttons to access the wireless setup wizard. It'll be buried somewhere in there, and then once you access the wireless setup wizard, then it'll search for wireless networks in the area, and then it'll show you yours. You select yours, you type in your wireless password, and then say A-OK, and then it should connect to your wireless network. So once you've done that, if it's wireless, you're sure it's connected to your network. If it's wired, you've unplugged it, you've plugged it in, you've rebooted all the devices. Then you want to make sure, first of all, that it's not some sort of a jam. So what you want to do is you want to find your printer model, and you want to Google your printer model with paper jam. So like whatever your printer model is, and the word paper jam, and then it should show you instructions. Now the thing about these printers is that they have little sensors inside them, so they can tell when you've opened doors and whatnot. And you have to follow these instructions to the letter. Even if you know the jam is in the back, you still have to follow these step by step and clear the jams. Check for clear jams in each of these spots in this order. And if you see a jam, it'll tell you exactly how to pull the paper out. And you want to pull evenly from both sides, because if you leave a little scrap in there, it can be a real nightmare to get out. So once you're positive that you've cleared the jams and you've followed these instructions in a step-by-step manner to the letter, then you want to see if you're printing again. And if you're not printing again, then what you want to do is you want to go over here to Control Panel. And you want to go into Devices and Printers. Now, click on that. And let's go back a step. I showed people how to put Control Panel on their desktop. It's a real handy thing to have in Windows 10 on their desktop. What you do is you press your right mouse button on the desktop, go to Personalize, and press your left mouse button. And then where it says Themes on the left over here, you click on that with your left mouse button, and with your right mouse button, with your left mouse button again, you click on Desktop Icon Settings, and then again with your left mouse button, you put a check in all of these four things. Then you say OK, and that'll put all these icons on your desktop. So you double click with your left mouse button on Control Panel, and then you click where it says Devices and Printers with your left mouse button, and then you're going to see your printer sitting there. So what you're going to do here is, first of all, you want to make sure that your printer is not grayed out. Now when we say grayed out, what we mean is if something is inactive or offline or something like that, you're going to see where it doesn't look like it's in full color. It looks like it's only kind of in a gray. It looks like a gray picture, and that means probably that your printer's offline. And if your printer's offline, then what we just did, clearing the jam, unplugging it, replugging it, that did not resolve the problem. But if and you may need at that point to call a professional, because there may be something wrong with the driver or something like that, and you may not be able to resolve that yourself if you're a novice. But if it's online like this and you're still unable to print, and what you want to do is you want to right click on the printer, and then where it says see what's printing, you want to left click on that. Now, a lot of times what you'll see is a list of documents, because sometimes people will try and print and it won't print, and then they'll try and print like 50 more times. And what's happening here is one of the documents is just clogging up the system because it's corrupted or something. And what they really need to do is clear this queue. So the way you clear the queue is you go to printer, and you see where it's grayed out here, but it says cancel all documents. If I had some documents in the queue, then all I would have to do would be to click cancel all documents, and they would go away. Now, if they don't all go away when you do that, and one is left up there, then you may need to stop and start the print spooler. And the way you do that is you hold down the control button, which is in the, let me see if I can find Control Alt Delete here. Control Alt Delete. There it is. Images. So that's right there. There. Boom. Alright, so that's where your control button is, that's where your alt button is, and that's where your delete button is. You can use either of these controls or alts, doesn't matter. But just hold one control down, one alt down, and the delete button, and you will see this. And then when you see this, then you're going to left click on Task Manager. And then you're going to want to click where it says Services in this tab up here. And then you're going to scroll all the way down until you see something that says Spooler. And this is your print spooler. See, it says print spooler right there. And what you're going to do is you're going to left click on it, and then you're going to right click on where it says spooler, and then you're going to left click where it says stop. Then you're going to count to 5, then you're going to right click on spooler again, and then you're going to left click on where it says start. And then that will stop and start the print spooler. Then you're going to go back to control panel, and then by double clicking on it with your left mouse button, then you're going to left click once where it says devices and printers, and then you're going to right click on your printer, left click on see what's printing, and then you're going to see if that thing's gone. If it's gone, everything worked right. If it's not gone, try and cancel all documents again. Or you can right click on the document that's in there and left click on cancel document. If that all works, try printing again. If it doesn't work, and you can't get rid of a document in there, or it won't print, then you're going to want to call a professional. There's something that could be wrong with your driver, or a hardware problem with the printer, and that is something that any computer professional can help you out with. But those other things are things you can do yourself to resolve any kind of printer issue. If you need help fixing a computer or installing a printer, feel free to call Dave Bensman at Bensman Home Computer Repair at 901-830-4362 if you're in the Memphis area. Please remember to subscribe to this channel, like these videos, and share them. Stay safe.